I'm Carl Tinkelman. I'm an endodontist. That means I do root canal on human people. I started to do animal dentistry almost 40 years ago. In the old days, animals, the oral health was a minor interest. The anesthetics that they used were very brittle and unstable, and they didn't have time to look in their mouth. So they would do what they had to do, take blood, look at a wound, and then get out without even looking to the mouth. But they've realized, and they've learned from human dentistry, that the mouth is a source of infection. This is a picture, thank you, of an aardvark.
An aardvark?
Yeah. And they only open their mouth a little bit, but their teeth are all the way in the back here. And they have a lot of dental problems. They get abscesses, jaw problems, and sometimes it's difficult to treat. You can't treat them normally through the mouth. Sometimes you have to go through the side of the face. This is the part that you see in the mouth of the lioness, and this part here is the part that's below the gum line.
Right.
And you can see the opening right in here. That's the nerve of the tooth. This canal goes up to about this long, about 6 inches longer, and it gets a lot wider.
Just to give people an idea, when you do a root canal on a human, you said 6 inches is how long the instrument would have to be, which you have to make yourself.
Yes, I make myself.
Humans might be 25 millimeters.
I started to do animal dentistry almost 40 years ago. My first patient was a tiger who had a toothache, and his tooth broke, and the nerve of the tooth was exposed and infected. See it right here is that the tooth broke off that we did root canal on, and that this is an x-ray, and you see this dark shadow here is an abscess, and this is the instrument that I have in the root canal. It's just as we do in human beings. The veterinarian at the time wasn't Dr. Hinshaw, was another vet, Hannah Hinch, and she called her dentist because she knew that the tiger had a toothache. So he doesn't do root canal, so he called me, and I do just the root canal. So I had to prepare. I had to make instruments. I had to make my own tools. The tools I took was orthodontic wire, and I took the human instruments and I soldered them together to give them some flexibility and length, because the canal, a tiger's tooth is about 6 inches long and very wide. And at the time, there wasn't any materials to work on a tiger's tooth in human dentistry, so I had to create some. This part here was in the bone. This tiger was one of the largest tigers in captivity, Siberian. He weighed almost 600 pounds. And this part of the tooth came down to here. But to treat a tooth that's this big, these are normal human instruments. Obviously, they're much too small to fit in here. So I designed these instruments using human instruments and making on an orthodontic wire and soldering it in place. The first event that we did was covered by about 50 news people, all crowded into a room. It was very hot in the room. We were all very frightened because we didn't know what we were doing. And every 2 seconds, the reporters would yell out, "Pause, look up, do this, do that." The animal was getting very overheated, so we had to pack it with ice to keep it calm, to keep it cooler. It went all over the world. I had a friend in Paris who saw the picture in the Paris newspaper. I met a new cousin that was in Kansas City who saw the picture. So it was fun.
Most animals need to be anesthetized in order to have their teeth cleaned and checked. There are some that we can do visually, but to actually have hands-on and have a proper dental exam, we anesthetize them, which means that the animal must be fasted for a certain period of time, usually about 8 to 24 hours before the procedure. And then we'll have the animal anesthetized. And we use that, in this case, what we'll be using today is an anesthetic gas. And once the animal is anesthetized and safely restrained for procedure, we'll go on and we'll do a full physical exam, we'll draw blood, we'll have the dental exam performed. And then when we're completed with that, reverse the anesthesia by, again, with anesthetic gas, you can turn the gas off and just have them breathing oxygen. and they'll wake up gradually, and then we return them back to the housing that they came from.
Okay, well, his teeth don't need to be cleaned at all because they're very clean, and they take good care of him at the other zoo. And he brushes regularly. When I first started about 40 years ago, there wasn't anyone doing animal dentistry. Now most zoos have dental consultants work for them. There's also, they teach dentistry in vet schools now and make it a study where people can get advanced degrees in dentistry. There's even some veterinarians who do just dentistry. I've worked with the nutritionists here over the years, and we've developed different foods to give to the animals. When I first came, like the tigers and the primates had huge amounts of calculus on their teeth. That it was so much that you needed pliers to remove it. But now we've added hard foods to their diets and give them things to chew instead of soft meat, and so their dental health has improved quite a bit. I've been working with the animals to brush their teeth, especially the orangutans. They listen, but it's hard to get a tiger to brush his teeth. But I've had animals like a gorilla wake up and sit up while I was doing root canal on a gorilla, and he just sat up right up in the chair, and we had to hold him down until he got more drugs. I try to stay close to the entrance of the cage so I can run out first. I'm the oldest, so I still run out first. The animals are anesthetized, so usually there isn't any problem. Dr. Hinchell and his staff make sure that the animal is perfectly asleep before I look in their mouth. But sometimes the cats will growl and roll their eyes and try to move. And I have a metal instrument that keeps a spring that keeps their teeth open, their jaws open, and they've even been bent while I'm treating them. They can bend them. They're that powerful.
Well, a human's jaw is connected here in the middle. This side is connected to this side, but in a snake there is no juncture here, so that the right side and the left side can act separately and in different directions.
Split apart. Is it elastic then? It stretches.
Yeah, they're just ligaments here, so they can open their mouth to swallow a very large animal like a rabbit or anything larger than that even.
I love doing it every single time. There isn't just to hold an animal. I used to come every week to the zoo, and even if I didn't do dentistry, I would shovel poop, or I would I would carry the bags of the vet, help set up for the animal's examination. I just love being here. It's a wonderful place. They take very good care of the animals.
In other words, you come in, volunteer to the zoo, and take care of the animals. Yes. Thank you for taking care of the animals.
It's important that a human being brushes their teeth and sees a dentist regularly, and just as it is for the animals to see me.